A Weiss Schwarz player named Diz310 maintains this Google sheet full of different Weiss Schwarz combos and how effective they are at winning games in different situations. It gives you a good look at what your odds are of winning from any given position based on damage and compression. And when tournament season comes around, I read this sheet like it's sacred text. I devour this thing. I'm trying to figure out optimal plays. How much do I need to heal down? Can I commit to my finisher? Will I live another turn? It's an incredibly valuable resource. Of course, when you're sitting down in an actual game with an actual opponent, you don't always have that luxury of choice. Sometimes you just get punched in the face, and now you're 3-6, staring down the barrel, and you need to find the answer. At this point, you just punt the numbers to the curb. You need to find some luck and manufacture some damage. You have to go all in.
I really think Futi's got to throw this ball into the end zone or down around the 5-yard line in hopes of, if they don't get the completion, a possibility of an interference. Game cannot end on a defensive penalty, so they would have another play. So I think he's got to put it up down and deep in the end zone.
Maybe a design scramble to allow him to find some time.
Penalty marker is down, play is stopped.
For those of you that stumbled onto this video and have no idea what I'm talking about, Weiss Schwarz is a trading card game. It's a lot like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon, except all the cards feature various anime characters. I'm not going to explain all the rules because that would take a while. There's a link in the description, but the key things you need to know are 1. If you take 28 damage over the course of the game, you lose, and 2, you can swing for a lot of damage, but the more damage you try to do, the less likely it is that your opponent will actually take that damage. Weiss has this unique mechanic where when your opponent tries to deal damage to you, you reveal cards off the top of your deck equal to the damage they deal. So if they deal 2 damage, you reveal 2 cards, one at a time, and those cards go into your clock, which is where you keep track of your damage. However, if you reveal one of these sideways cards, called a climax, everything stops, and you take none of the damage. What this means, of course, is that when you swing for bigger numbers, your opponent is much more likely to reveal a climax and cancel all the damage. In Weiss Schwarz, you build decks based around your favorite anime, but those cards don't just have pictures of the characters on them, they're intentionally designed to reflect what the character is like in the source material, at least to a degree. Characters who take on support roles in their shows, for example, will often have abilities that make other characters stronger. Some characters have abilities that specifically target other characters with whom they have a special relationship in their stories. And if you play Gurren Lagann, you get to stack cards on top of each other and build a giant robot on the stage, which is, of course, very cool. And when you're playing KonoSuba, when you put a Megumin card on the stage, it's very likely that you're trying to blow something up.
Waga no Megumin! 高魔速随一の天才にして爆裂魔法を操りし者！食らうがいい！エクスプロージョン！
KonoSuba is one of my favorite anime, and Megumin is one of my favorite characters. She's a flamboyant crimson demon with a ton of magical potential, but she refuses to learn any magic other than the one kind of magic she absolutely loves: explosion magic. Megumin is unique among mages in just about any fiction. She's a quarterback who only throws Hail Marys, a pitcher whose only pitch is a 102-mile-an-hour fastball, the gambler who goes all in. Extremely powerful, but that potentially high reward can be offset by her inability to do literally anything else. But that high risk, high reward quality of her character is exactly what makes her cards some of the most fun to play in Weiss Schwarz. Good card design has a delicate balance between flavor and function, something that Weiss, given its foundation as a game built around different anime IPs, has to be especially tuned into. Megumin's cards find that balance exquisitely. Megumin has several cards that have these explosive effects, including combos that have big burns on them, ones that kick opposing characters directly into your opponent's damage area, and even just blow up everything on the entire board. You know, just cuz. These combos might barely stick any damage at all, and they often come with an absurd cost, either in terms of the resources you have to invest or the way you need to build your deck, but every single Megumin damage card is trying to pull off some kind of crazy stunt. That's just what Megumin does. For my money, the best and most fun of these cards is Powered Up Explosion Magic Megumin. This card is one of the most iconic pieces in the game, and is the quintessential representation of Megumin's archetype. It's a level 3 character that costs 2 stock to play, and when it attacks, you can pay 3 more stock and discard 2 cards to deal 5 damage to your opponent. Or as players call it, Burn 5. Burn 5 is one of those things that you don't ever really want to hear your opponent say. Is the damage likely to stick? Not really, but it could, and if it does, you can just lose on the spot. This card is packed with outstanding flavor that pairs exquisitely with its function. Not only is Megumin's Explosion this massive swing, but when Megumin casts Explosion in the anime, she can only do it once per day. She expends all of her magical energy to cast the spell, meaning that after she casts it, she's just stuck, prone on the battlefield, lacking the energy even to stand. But to make sure she's able to get home, Megumin always brings a friend. When Megumin is played on the stage, she summons another character from your hand to the board for free, no matter what the cost is to pay them normally. So you essentially get a second character on the board for free, and this is where things can get out of hand. Her free summon allows her to prime the pump for that Burn 5 and make it much, much more dangerous. When she summons Aqua to the stage alongside her, Aqua gets to use her on-play effect, which only costs 1 stock. You can take 2 climaxes out of your opponent's waiting room and shuffle everything else back into the deck. By putting a whole bunch of cards that aren't climaxes back into the deck, you make it much more likely that that Burn 5 is going to stick. But of course, by committing to this line of play, all your eggs are in this basket. This is one big attack. It's either going to work or it's not. If it does work, you can pull victory from the jaws of defeat, but it's just as likely to fizzle and do literally nothing. This Burn 5 effect isn't unique to Megumin. There are plenty of other cards that have Burn 5 effects from both before and after this card debuted. But if you ask Weiss players which card is the Burn 5 card, most of them will say this one. This is Megumin's archetype. And at least part of the reason for that is because the card has seen success in competitive environments. Here it is in Anando Cordich's deck in the 2018 Worlds quarterfinals, a tournament he would go on to win with this deck. And here it is being piloted by Ryan Wibberley in the 2021 Weiss Schwarz Invitational Final. There is, however, one other card that I think carries on this card's legacy in all its glory. Megumin's little sister Komeko made her first appearance in Weiss in the Legend of Crimson set. She's not on a lot of cards, but she does appear on one of my favorite cards in the entire game. In the KonoSuba movie Legend of Crimson, the characters are all fighting against one of the Demon King's generals, Sylvia. Kazuma, the main character, has put a lot of stock into this weapon that he believes can win this battle against Sylvia. He gets it all set up, and he's ready to pull the trigger and be the hero. Then Komeko beats him to the punch. Forbidden Weapon is a level 2 4-stock event. You pay that cost and send it into memory. Then at the end of your opponent's turn, you can pay 2 more stock to use it. When you use it at the end of your opponent's turn, you can put 2 clean cards on top of your opponent's deck, and then, you guessed it, Burn 5. This card is also packed with so much flavor. I don't really care for the Legend of Crimson movie, but Komeko was easily the best part of the film. There's a specific Kazuma card that goes to get the Forbidden Weapon event and put it into your hand, and then you need to have a Kazuma on board to put the weapon into memory, to prepare the weapon. And then, at the end of your opponent's turn, before any of your characters on board, like Kazuma, get a chance to do anything, Komeko just steps in and... fires the weapon. Burning 5, just like her big sis. Is it a good card? Probably not, but one of my absolute favorite decks to play is built around this card, and I can't tell you how many times I've watched opponents, some of whom are world-class players, playing top-tier meta lists, just die to this. It is the Burn 5 in all of its swingy, high-risk, high-reward glory. Does it fizzle a lot? Yes, it does. But when it works, it's one of my favorite effects in all of card games, and sometimes just wins you the game right then and there. But that's what the Burn 5 is for, right? It's not made for a game of well-considered actions and careful plays to outmaneuver an opponent. It's just bringing a comically oversized hammer to a knife fight, playing a game that's designed to keep hope alive until the very last swing. It's outrageous, entertaining, and some of the most fun you'll have playing card games. And sometimes, it even works.
Well, here we go. Here's your ball game, folks, as Flutie takes the snap. He drops straight back, has some time.
我が名はメグミン。高魔族随一にして最強の魔法使い。吹けよ嵐、響けよ爆炎。エクスプローズ。
Taylor is down there. Touchdown, Boston College! He did it! He did it! Flutie did it!
Hey y'all, it's Colton. Thanks for watching. I know this video was a little bit different. I had an idea, and I wanted to give it a try. I've got ideas for a couple more of these extra credit videos if you're interested, so if you liked this, please like and leave a comment, and we'll see if this is the kind of thing that maybe more people would be interested in seeing in the future. I absolutely was inspired by / stole the style of both Ristic Studies and John Boyce. Ristic Studies makes videos about Magic the Gathering, and even if you don't like Magic, his videos are incredible. It's about card design and flavor and the history of cards and how they've been used in the stories they tell. It's brilliant stuff. Highly recommend you check it out. John Boyce makes videos for Secret Base. I've been following his work for a super, super long time, and I definitely took some inspiration from Pretty Good, which is a YouTube series that I highly recommend that you check out. Links to that in the description, as well as everything else that I used in this video, music, videos, resources, things like that. It's all going to be in the description. But yeah, thank you so much. We'll be back with the regular Clock Talk next week, and until then, have a good one.